Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a reading on messages from the universe. So it's a pick from 3 groups and they're all raw crystals. So the first group is going to be a raw rose quartz. The second group is a raw lepidolite. And the third one is amethyst. Raw. They're all raw. Anyway, so yeah, the timestamps will be below, and I'll see you in your reading. Hi, group 1. So if you chose the rose quartz, this is your reading. So like I said, this is messages from the universe. So this is just whatever wants to come through. Now, the first thing that I saw was there seems to be this feeling of wanting to go off on your own, to start something new, but also something completely different than you're used to or that the people around you are used to. It seems very unconventional, maybe even spiritual, where you just want to start, it's like you're really bored with your life, or you're very unsatisfied with your life. And that could be in any area. This could be, your career, your workplace, your relationships, your friendships, your family, even just in your routines. There's a strong dissatisfaction going on in your life, and it's making you feel empty. And almost like everything feels like a chore. Every day you get up and you're doing the same things, and it feels like a chore. It feels like you really have to push yourself to get up and do the things that you normally do. And so there's this inner craving that you have to branch out and just do something new. But it's like you're holding yourself back because you feel like people won't accept it, or you have to overly convince someone or people why you're doing why you're doing what it is that you want to do, and it could really be anything. Like, say you want to do readings, and people just don't understand that, and like, why are you doing that? It doesn't make sense or whatever. I'm pretty sure like every tarot reader has come across people like that. And it doesn't have to be that. It's just an example of what it may be that you want to do that isn't very typical of what you're used to seeing or the people around you are used to seeing. And so there's a sense of, if you decide to do it, you're gonna have to fight for it or defend it, or convince people it's a good idea. But honestly, I don't really see that working out. Convincing people that it's going to work, that's not that's what's going to make you focus more on convincing them that it's right, rather than just putting your all into this thing that you want to pursue, be it a project or a path, or maybe you want to get a new job, and it doesn't make sense. It could literally be anything. Or maybe you want to leave a relationship that is just not working for you anymore. And people may think, oh, things are great between the two of you. Why would you just up and leave? If it's not right for you, it's not right for you. You don't really need a reason, except that if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. That is enough for you to go on your own path, whether people get upset about it or not. It's your life. And so there's this great need for you to pursue that new direction, if that's what feels right for you. Because if you don't, you're gonna keep yourself locked in this box, and that's just gonna keep growing. That feeling is just gonna keep growing and growing and growing, and you're gonna go from being very bored and dissatisfied to possibly going into a depression because of how unfulfilled you are. And I never want to downplay depression or say that's the only reason. There's so many reasons that a person could become depressed. And if that's something that you struggle with, I highly suggest you go get help or seek some assistance for that, because it's really important to take care of ourselves mentally as well as physically. But for you, I feel like the longer you stay in this unfulfillment, you know, the more it's going to weigh on you, and the more you're going to feel like you're losing out on a really great life that you're meant to have. You know, you may look at you know, posts online and or people around you, or people or certain things that make you feel like, wow, I really want that. You know, I want that feeling more than it being something that someone has that you don't. It's more of like a feeling, or just a vibe, just being happy. I think that you've gotten complacent in your life, and people tell you that that's normal, and you know what? It doesn't have to be normal, and it maybe even isn't. You know, you can be happy in your daily life, and if you're not right now, and that's something that weighs on your mind, you're really being encouraged to seek a new direction, to seek something new. So I have some oracle cards here that I'm gonna move this to get some more information on what you should do. Okay, so first card we have is pleasure and pain. The second card, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, is spiritual suffering. So I don't know if you can see. Let me move this up a little bit more. And then the last card is chakra love. Okay. So this makes sense because with pleasure and pain, you may feel that's what the vibe I was getting from this is that you feel like it's normal to have boredom and be stuck in like a routine. I feel like you're hearing that a lot. Like you may talk to people and they're like, oh, that's normal. Like not everyone is happy all of the time. And while that may be true sometimes, you know, there is some truth to that, it shouldn't be something that is constantly weighing on you, constantly on your mind. And it seems like it's been normalized in your life. Just this, you deal with the good, you deal with the bad, you deal with the good, deal with the bad. But you know what? Good exists. Like just pleasure exists. There's always going to be pain, but when it comes to the things that are closest to your heart and things that you deal with on a daily basis, those are supposed to be mostly pleasurable. They're not supposed to be a struggle all the time. It's not. And I hear this a lot of people saying it's normal to argue in relationships, or it's normal to butt heads a lot. It's not. It's not. When you're in a good place and you and your partner or whomever you are interacting with see each other clearly and communicate effectively, there really shouldn't be so much conflict. So that is not normal, and you don't need to convince yourself that it is so that you can keep showing up in your life. It's not normal, and if you don't like that about your life, you don't have to put up with it. You don't. And I feel like you just really need to hear that. You need to hear that you don't need to deal with the things that you're dealing with. Because I feel like people are telling you it's normal, it's normal, it's normal. And you know what? It's not. You get to choose the life that you want to live. You know, it doesn't have to be pushed upon you. It doesn't at all. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And this is what I was talking about with spiritual suffering. It's going to keep on building up. And you see all these fireflies. They're just like stuck in this jar, and they're not meant to be. They're meant to be out lighting up the world, literally lighting up the world. And you can see that with the hermit. It's a lantern, which is kind of the same thing, except the lantern is light that is being spread, right? It's guiding your path. It's showing you the way. And with the Fool, this is something you just are supposed to just jump into, not think about too much. It is a risk, but it's a risk that you're taking on yourself, and there's nothing more worthy of a risk than than for yourself, for your happiness. And there's just so much depth to you, so much that wants to come out, wants to be explored, wants to be shared, and it's just being bottled up, and then we have chakra love, and it's really interesting because right in the middle, I think that's the third. No, is that the third? I'm so bad. I think it's the crown chakra because we have root, sacral, heart, and then throat, third eye, solar. So I think that's the crown chakra. So there's a lot of information that wants to come to you on a spiritual level, or whatever it is that you believe in. There's a lot that wants to come through and be channeled through you, and it's for you to go through this really big shift in your life to begin to live a life that's more aligned with you. And you can, this does have all the chakras on it, so you can do, there's a lot of meditations or just even music. They have this just like if you look up stuff on YouTube, like there's so many things for chakras, and they have them for all the chakras. And I think that'll be really beneficial for you to just kind of sit for a few minutes and listen to that and allow each one of your chakras to just get a cleanse. and that'll give you clarity on how you should move forward. And sound bowls are really good too. So there's some really, again, of course you know, but there's a lot of good ones that are free that you can just put on, and you can even be doing it something. You don't even have to just be sitting down and strictly listening. So you just have it on in the background while you're doing something else, and music is so healing, and it'll just do what it needs to do. It'll go to where it needs to go for you, and it's gonna help give you what you need to move forward. So that is all I have for you, group 1. I hope that was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, group 2. So if you chose Love of Delight, this will be your reading. Okay. So, oh no. So these are just going to be messages from the universe, and pretty much straight to the point, I feel like. So let's get right into it. So right away, I'm feeling like you've been working on something for a while, for a long time. This is something that you're really passionate about, and you really have been going through it with it. I feel like you've been getting a lot of obstacles, a lot of things coming in your way that feel like they're impossible to overcome or get through, but somehow you've been working your way through it, and even if they're still lingering, it's something that you've been able to continue to work through. And the biggest message that I'm getting is keep going. Keep going with what you're pursuing, because you're gonna get exactly what you want from it. I'm feeling a lot of worrying, a lot of anxiety, because we have that 9 of Swords here. There's a lot. And I'm also feeling like you may want to give up. And I feel like you had a lot of moments where you wanted to give up. And with Judgment, it's just, you just keep on going. You've been very persistent. You keep, like, every time you want to give up, you get right back up and you keep going. Even if you take a day off, or you take some time to just think about things, you eventually make your way back to this and keep on going. It's because it's something that's very passionate for you. It's something that really lights you up. It's something you want so badly. And this could literally be anything, because I'm getting all different types of scenarios. I'm getting relationships, someone that you really love and want to make it work with, and because there's something really good there. And maybe there are outside obstacles getting in the way. You know, this could be a career path that you really want to do, and it's like everything is getting in the way. Maybe you're in school for it, and a lot of outside things just keep getting in the way. There's so many different scenarios, and please take it as it applies. But I do see just this really strong determination to achieve something. And you have the 9 of Cups. This is, as you know, I feel like a lot of you know this. This is known as the wish fulfillment card, and it's getting exactly what you want and seeing a payout. The 9s are about, like, you know, getting something you've been working really hard towards, you know, and it's right before the end, right before the 10, the fulfillment, the big part of it, you know, the culmination. So this is you feeling that finally this worked out. You seeing it paying off. You finally starting to see it. But you're really being asked right now to have faith and to keep showing up for what it is you want. There's no there's no like deadline that you need to meet, even if you feel like it, even if there actually is one. I'm getting the strong message of just like keep going. Don't think about, how it has to work out, when it has to work out, how it has to be, or whatever. I'm getting that you may have your own personal timeline that you want to keep up with, that you want to follow, and you really want this to be in that timeline. But I'm really hearing like just let go of that and just focus on the work. Focus on what it is that you want to achieve, what you want this to work out as. Just keep going. You already have that fire in you. This is the King of Wands. He's the most motivated, he's the most determined to, it says ruler of wands, but it corresponds with the King of Wands. And he's the archetype of just nothing gets in his way, and he enjoys it. He enjoys that challenge. He enjoys pushing forward. So, and this applies to you no matter what you identify as. This is just, everyone has that fire in them, and it's about tapping into it and really, really putting your all into something. That's how this is for you now, or if you really love it. If you love something and if you're really lit up by it, it's for you. Even if it's been a long time and you haven't seen any payout, you will. I promise you that you will see some payout. If you're putting your all in, it's almost impossible to not receive something from that. If you're putting your all into something and you keep showing up, you will get what it is you're seeking. If not always in the way that you expect, you will receive what you're looking for, and it's just about keep showing up, and I feel like you're already doing that. So there's just a lot of worry, and you don't need to worry. Even if you don't see anything happening right now, just like, you don't need to. Just know what's happening. Behind the scenes, it's happening. And then it's going to be really sudden that it just pushes forward. So we have some oracle cards here. Okay, so the first one is feeling and form. And then the second one is communication. And the third one, which I think is really beautiful, is soul knowing. And I feel like when you get really anxious and you worry a lot, just go back to that part of you that you felt so strongly when you started this, when you decided to go after it, when you decided to pursue it. Remember that part of you that says, screw it, I'm going after this because this lights me up more than anything else, and I want it. I want it badly. And this is something you really, 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 really want. So keep that in mind, that feeling of just knowing it was going to work out for you, even if it didn't seem like it, even if it was super risky, you just knew. Try to remember that feeling. Just go back to the beginning. Whenever you get too anxious and you start to doubt it and you think, yeah, this isn't really going to work out. Maybe this really isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not that type of person that gets to do this or have this or be this. You are all of those things, and you know that inside of yourself because that's the whole reason you went after it in the first place. So just go back to that base, or try to just remember when you just when you first started, or a time when you just used to dream about it before you even took any steps towards it, when you used to just dream about it. Remember that, and look at how far you've come from that point, because I know you've been doing this for a while. Just look at that progress, that in and of itself. Look at who you've already become in doing this. Look at that, and that'll give you a really great feeling of how it's going to move forward. Which takes me to this feeling and form card. And I love that we have the cycles of the moon, because that to me is further confirmation that this is working out. This will come to fruition. The moon always becomes full after a 28-day cycle. So this is going to work out for you. And I'm someone who tries to not give definite answers when it comes to readings, because it can really go either way. But I'm feeling such a strong strong confidence with your group of this working out, of this being something that is going to work out for you. And I keep hearing and feeling that you know this within yourself. So if that doesn't resonate with you, if you don't feel it within yourself that it's going to work out, then maybe this isn't your group, because I'm really getting a strong vibe that for the people who feel this deep within themselves, in their gut, that this is going to work out. They just know it. Just sometimes you get anxious or you get scared or you get worried. Then there's a big boost of confidence coming from from these cards that this is going to happen for you. And with communication is really interesting, because I feel like that's what I've been saying the whole reading, is just like, get back to yourself. We always talk about communication with others, and even in this card we see 2 wolves, but there's what I don't feel gets talked about a lot is the communication within yourself, within your intuition, within your soul, or even with your mind, with your ego. Don't let that just run rampant, because that's what causes a lot of anxiety and worry and fear, because we're letting that ego kind of just run the show and not really checking it, like, okay, you know what, it's time for you to be quiet for now, because I know what I feel and I'm going to trust that. And that's really what I'm getting for you, is just have that internal dialogue of just, hey, I see your fear, I get it, I feel it, but I know this is gonna work out. There's such a strong confidence, like in you, just all around your group. There's just such a strong confidence, and I love that feeling of just knowing. Just remember that, knowing that this is gonna work out for you, because I so strongly feel that it is. So, and I truly hope that it does. So, this is all I have for you, for group 2. Thank you for being here, and I'm really excited for you, and I hope this works out, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, group 3. So if you chose Amethyst, then this will be your reading. Okay, so this is just messages from the universe, so this is whatever wants to come through. These have been pretty straightforward readings, so let's just get into it. So for your group, the first thing I'm feeling is, or what I heard was, running on autopilot. So you may just be doing things without intention. This actually reminds me of a lot of group 1. So if you were drawn to group 1, this, or you may want to see that one as well, because this gives me a similar energy or vibe. But I feel like there's this feeling of how can I say it? Of avoiding what you are being drawn to. There's like this. It's like you see yourself one way, but you're living your life a completely different way, and it's becoming like a trap for you, because I'm looking at the Conqueror of Swords, which corresponds to the Knight of Swords, I believe, and then I'm looking at the Five of Wands, which is about conflict, inner conflict, and what I'm seeing is this starfish just being trapped in these strings, and then here the swords and the wings again being sort of trapped in this sort of like, I don't know, rope. And there's this feeling of wanting to be free, of really just wanting to be free. And the Knight of Swords is someone who just goes, doesn't think, doesn't do anything else, it's just running forward. And I feel like that's your energy, but it's like you're running, but you're getting caught in these like traps, but you're still running. So you're running, but you have all these ropes on you that are beginning to really hold you back, and you keep on. If you ever like seen an animal kind of get caught in a trap, and then they panic and they go even further, and then they get injured, or they could get injured because they start to panic. I'm kind of getting that vibe from you, like you're starting to panic, but that's making you go even further. It's making you run even faster, and it has the potential to cause harm because you're just going and going and going and going and going, but it's not in the direction that you want to go in, and that's why you're getting trapped. That's why you're getting tripped up, because it's not your path. And there's a lot of, it's a common question that people ask is, am I on the right path? And I'm sorry to say, but I don't feel like you are on the right path. That's a strong message I'm getting, that you're running in the wrong direction right now. And it's because it's not where your heart is leading you at all. You're going in the opposite direction. And I'm actually getting a lot of fear. A lot of fear. I think you're taking the safe route because it seems more secure. But the funny thing is, it's like you chose this path because you felt like it was more secure, because that path usually is more secure. But things are not feeling very secure. It's almost like you're coming across a lot of obstacles, a lot of things getting in your way that wouldn't usually happen. Like unusual things are happening for you. And I noticed that when you go down a path, or when you do something and unusual things happen, like let's say your paperwork got lost, and that never happens. Just your paperwork got lost or deleted or whatever, and it's like, wait, what? It's like an unusual thing that holds you back, and now you have to start all over, and now you have to do the paperwork all over for whatever this may be. This could be school, this could be work, this could be anything. This could be an apartment or a new home. It could literally be anything, but you're running in a direction that isn't for you, and you feel that. So if you don't feel like you're running down the wrong direction, or like you second guess this a lot, or you're rushing ahead, then this may not be your group, because I don't want to tell people they're on the wrong path if they actually are on the right path. So this is for people who, like, you would feel this impatience, this feeling of you need to rush, or like you're running out of time, or like you're gonna miss out, or something like that. And these are signs, and you're having these unusual experiences that are holding you back, and you're just trying to push past them. These are big signs from the universe that are telling you, hey, take a second, stop for a moment, and rethink this. Is this really what you want? Is this how you see your life going? Is that what's really calling you? Now, if the answer to any of those questions is no, then this isn't your path. This isn't the direction you're supposed to go in. And you're being redirected into a path that is what you really want, but that you feel like for some reason you can't have. You feel like you want to go after something that you can't, because it's just not going to work out for you. You feel like it's just not secure. It's not a realistic thing. And that's why you're not going after it. It's too unsure. But it's so meant for you, because it's where your heart lies. It's what you want the most. And I love that on the outer cards here, we have the Lovers, and then we have the Pillar, which also corresponds to the Empress. And this is all like, it's just so much loving energy. The Lovers is obviously loving energy. This is about going towards what you love the most, what pulls you the most. And yes, you have to choose that. That's a choice you make, to go after what you love. There's alignment here, and then the Empress, this is about creating the life that you want. It's about being who you see yourself as, who you feel yourself as. This is about allowing yourself to bloom in the way that you want to, because you're not going to bloom where you're not meant to bloom. You're just going to be stuck in the mud, because it's not meant for you. That's not where you're meant to thrive. It's not your environment. You think of a plant who's growing in completely wrong. You can't take like a palm tree and put it in like Alaska. It's not gonna grow. It's not gonna work out. And so you're trying to thrive in an environment that's not meant for you, and you don't even want it to be. You're just doing it because you feel like you should. And a really big message I'm getting is that you shouldn't force something that isn't for you to be for you, because it's not, and it's not gonna make it for you just because you're pushing it to be. It's not. And this could be for a person too, if you're around people who don't feel right for you, for friends or even family members, or a relationship, or it could be anything. that you don't feel aligned with, and it's just not for you, you know. And what I love even more is that we have a starfish here that's trapped, right? But then on the Lovers and the Pillar, we have the star, this beautiful bright star that's shining, and there's a circle around both of them. This is something to be cherished. This is something to devote yourself to. This is something to guide you, you know. And that's faith. That's faith. That's hope, you know. Something that really lights you up and makes you feel good, even if it's unsure. It's a chance that you're taking on yourself, on your future, on the life that you truly want. This is a big call for you to really, you know, try to go after it, because you just don't feel like you're on the right path. And if you don't feel like you're on the right path, you're probably not. You know, we ask this question a lot, you know, to other people, but the person who knows the most is you. You know, if it doesn't feel right, then it most likely isn't. And you can look into why it doesn't feel right, you know. So for your oracle cards, we have receiving frequency, conflict, and be you, which I think is so appropriate and so beautiful, because I love that we get, like, the card we got under these two cards is conflict. And it's like, it's literally your head or your heart, your head or your heart. Right now you're following your head, which is, again, it's the secure thing to do. It's the logical thing to do. It's the thing that makes the most sense, but it doesn't feel right. Your heart is telling you to go in a different direction. And receiving frequency, this is something, and it's funny that there's a lotus there, because that's exactly what I was envisioning, like a lotus growing out of the mud. And it's like, if you're not in the right environment, that lotus isn't going to come out. It's going to stay in the mud. I don't really know too much about how lotuses grow, but I do know that they grow out of the mud. So, but there's a part of you that is trying to blossom. And even here we have a flower, a rose, right in the middle of this moon cycle. There's a part of you that's really trying to come out, and you are suppressing it because you feel like it's not secure, it's not safe. That's what you feel, but you're gonna have to, at some point in your life, face that fear, because it's gonna follow you around everywhere. You may think that you're going into something that is so sure, but nothing in life is sure. Nothing. It may be more likely to be secure, you know, but there's always that percentage of it being unsure, you know, of anything can happen at any given moment, you know. So if that's the notion that anything can happen at any moment, then why not take that risk on something that you love, that you want to do? If everything is a risk, you know, even if it's more likely this is going to go this way, even if this feels safer, anything can happen at any given moment, you know. Just why not just spend that moment on yourself, on what it is you truly want? And the thing is that for the people that this reading is really for, like, you already feel that, because we have this receiving frequency. You're already getting that push, you know, to go after what it is you really want. Listen to that voice. Go in that direction. Even if it's just a little bit. You don't have to be all at once. You don't have to make the changes all at once. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can lead up to that point, I will say. You know, it may get to a point where you have to make a big decision. But I don't feel like you're at that point right now. I feel like right now you're being encouraged to just dip your toe in it. You know, why don't you just research it, you know, or read a book on it? Just explore that option. Just explore it. You're not even giving it a chance. You're not even considering it. And that's all they're asking you to do, is just consider it. Just give yourself that option. You know, you can still choose anything you want moving forward, but at least consider it as a viable option for you, regardless of what it may take to go in that direction. And I feel like this reading seems a little vague, but I feel like for those who are going through this will know what I'm saying, or it will resonate with them. At least I hope so. But there's a lot of discovering yourself, or discovering a new path for yourself that is waiting for you and wants to come forth. especially with a BU card, it's as simple as that. And it sounds simple. It is simple. It doesn't feel it all the time. You know, it doesn't feel like it's so simple to just be yourself or go in the direction you want to go in. Because even you see this fish and there's like 4 directions, right? You can go in. And it's so natural for us to just go in this direction, right? Because a fish doesn't think about being a fish. It just is a fish. It just goes in its own direction, which I hope that doesn't sound as stupid as it sounded in my head. But anyway, my point is that it's really natural for us to just go in the direction that we're meant to go in if we allow ourselves to. We stop pushing against the current, you know? We just allow, and the way that we allow is to just listen to ourselves, be with ourselves. What is it that really sparks your curiosity? What is it that you're really interested in? What is it that you want to know more about? What is it that you look at and you think, wow, that must be great. That must be wonderful. A lot of times that's a sign that something like that is meant for you. You know, just give yourself a chance to pursue it. And that's really the biggest message I'm getting for you. If I had to sum this up into one phrase or one sentence, give yourself, I don't know why I'm having some trouble saying that. Give yourself a chance to pursue what it is you want, what it is you truly want. And that's really it. That's it. Give yourself the chance to pursue what it is you really want. And it's as simple as that. Okay, so this is all I have for you. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed doing these readings, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.